Hello, so we've been asked to explain how to work on the Texas Instrument with scientific notation or standard notation, okay? And I'm going to explain how to do it in two ways. So if you open a calculator and you start writing big numbers, you'll see that you get all the digits and you don't get the scientific notation. So how can you obtain scientific notation? First of all, I'm going to explain the way I don't normally do, but if you work a lot with scientific notation or standard notation, it might be interesting. You can go to the main menu and you can go to number 5 configuration. You can set up the document, and where it says exponential form, change it to scientific, and calculus mode, you change it to approximate. And you have to set that as the default. It will ask you, do you want to set it as the default? You say yes. When you now open a calculator and you write all the digits, you'll see that you get the scientific notation, and anything you worked with will be in scientific notation. So this is interesting if you always work with this, but I'm going to explain how to use scientific notation or standard notation even if you don't. So let's go back and set up the calculator as we had it before. So it's a normal, exponential, and the auto for the calculus. And we set this as default, and we open a new document. So if I want to write this big number in scientific notation, I can, most people when they work with scientific notation, write times 10 to the power of. This is absolutely wrong in the calculators, okay? This is forcing the calculator to operate, to do the calculus, to do the times 10 to the power of 2. It makes no sense because it has scientific notation. The way to write scientific notation is this double E that you have here. In some calculators, it's just an E. If you write an E and just write number 0, you will get the number in scientific notation, okay? So that's very easy. So, and I can just get the same number here. If I multiply it by a big number, it'll just write it directly in scientific notation, okay? So what if I want to operate with numbers with scientific notation? So for example, 2.3 times 10 to the power of 3. So I'll just write this. How do I know this is the same as the other one? Look, if I write 2.3 times 10, which is what most people will do, and it's again wrong to the power of 3, I get the same number, okay? So 2.3 times 10, which is the e to the power of 3, multiplied by 5968.3 times 10 to the power of 2, and that's how you operate on scientific notation. So I can get 2.38 times 10 to the power of 2 divided by 567 times 10 to the power of minus 16. And you see I get the scientific notation. So it's really easy, okay? There is another way if you want. I think it's much more complicated, but you can go to menu, number, and convert to decimal, and you'll get the same number in scientific notation. So if I did this, that number, you see I get the same result here as I did here, convert into decimal. But I think it's much easier just to write E0 and you get that. Okay, so this is how you work in the Texas Instrument with the scientific notation.